Hello, I'm Stephanie Yates, and I decided to share my book via Facebook and YouTube. And the name of my book is My Spiritual Wishes, The Guide for My Spiritual Life. It can be found on the Amazon platform, and I do have copies if you desire to buy one. You can hit me up in Messenger, and I can tell you how to get one from me directly. Okay, but I've already covered chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, and today we're covering chapter 5. Chapter 5 is titled Spiritual Testimonies. And I know we all have a testimony to some degree as to things we were in that God brought us out of, stuff that happened in our life that we find now that we got the victory and we know why it happened now. Because a lot of times when we're going through trying times, we don't know why. Like, why, Lord? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to my family? Why are we going through that? Even though you went through it, a lot of times when you get out of it and you realize that God brought you out of it, that's a testimony. That's something that you can share with someone else that'll make a difference in their life, on their journey. And so, again, this is a book. This is how it look on Amazon. My Spiritual Wishes, The Guide for My Spiritual Life. Okay. Chapter 5, like I said, Spiritual Testimonies. It's a short chapter. This book is designed as in a workbook format for you to write down these things so you can share them with your family, so your family can discuss it and they can get to know you on a deeper level versus just knowing you for, being a parent, a sister, a friend, a cousin. So in regard to your spiritual testimonies, I do encourage you to get a composition book. You can pause the video anytime you want to. And write down your spiritual testimonies. And it's a good way to bond with your family as well. So the first thing in reference to your spiritual testimony is your testimony about miracles. The date they happen, the place they happen, and the details of what happens, the miracles that happen in your life. I know a lot of people have miracles in reference to the Spirit told them not to go in a certain direction, and they did not go. And then they found out later that an accident happened, and they were spared from that. That's a miracle, for one, that you even listen, because a lot of times we don't even listen to the Spirit when it speaks to us. We just start wondering what's going on. But if we listen to the Spirit, we can avoid a lot of tragedies in our lives. The second thing is healings. Any healings, the date they happen, the place they happen, and the details of what happened in your life. The next one is deliverances. When God delivered you from something, the date it happened, the place it happened, and the details of what happened, and then other spiritual testimonies that happened in your life, the date, the place, and the time. I remember how when my husband and I, we were looking for a house, and he had a certain idea of what the type of house he wanted. He didn't want a 2-story house. Because he felt that when we got older, we wouldn't have to go up and down stairs or anything like that. So I prayed about it, and so the Spirit said, well, if you believe you're going to get the house, start packing. So I started packing. I started packing up anything that I felt that we did not need in our current place of residence. We stayed in a zero-lot house. And so I started packing up all the dishes we weren't using, all the clothes that, be in the closet for years, some of them that you really need to get rid of because you can't wear no more. But I started packing up the clothes and shoes and stuff that I wasn't wearing. And I just had the essential things that I needed to continue because I didn't know. I was just being obedient to the Spirit. And I didn't know when we're going to move, how we're going to move. We hadn't even looked for a house, hadn't sought out an agent or anything. So after the Spirit told me to start packing, and I did that, then I went online and started looking at different houses online, looking for the type of house that I want, how you can sort it down to specific zip codes and all that. And so I kept searching and searching, and I would drive by the different houses and look at them and see what they look like and see if I liked them. And most of them was 2-story, or you could get one built from the ground up. And so they didn't meet the desire that my husband wanted. He wanted a big backyard and all that. And so I kept searching, and I got tired. It's just really exhausting when you're looking for a house. You go to these different places, and you start making calls, meeting with realtors, praying that your credit is qualify you enough to get the house that you find that you think you really like and that you're looking for. So I thought we was going to go through the route of getting one built. But then most of the ones they were building then were 2-story houses. They weren't building a lot of flat ones. I mean, 1-story houses. So at the point that you feel like you're about to give up, that's the point that you find out that God's really finna work some things out for you. So I drove into the neighborhood that we live into now. And I saw the sign. I saw the house that it was available. It's a corner lot house. And so I got the information off the sign. And so I called the realtor and set up an appointment to meet with her and to meet her at the house. And so we met at the house. But before we came into the house, she said, "Stop, let us pray." I'm like, oh my God. And so we prayed outside the house. We came into the house. We stood at the counter and she said, "Let us pray again." And in her prayer, she prayed, "God, do not let them get this house if it's not for them and if they would have to struggle to keep it." And I'm like, oh my God. And so my husband wasn't with me when we came and looked at the house. So the next day I told him about it and told him, I'd see if she could set up another appointment right away so that we can see it and he can, see it. And so she did. She set up another appointment for us. We came, we saw the house. And when he saw the backyard, that's really all he needed. He fell in love with it. And so God blessed us with the house. And that's a spiritual testimony, because we're just pretty much walking out on faith. And then I remember too when I lived on Kirby Downs and I wanted a computer. Because now they don't cost much or nothing now. And so I started buying software that you could only use on a computer. And so I'm like, well, Lord, I'm going to start buying the software that I need for my little computer. So when you bless me to get it, I already have some of the software that I can put on it. And God worked that thing out so that I ended up buying a computer. So I was excited. But a lot of times we are challenged to just pretty much just walk out on faith. Trust God. Trust God. Believe that God would do what God said God would do. And just walk out on faith. My daughter came by earlier today to get, get something to eat and just to talk. But anyway, she shared with me how when she was talking to me, and she shared me her testimony. It's a beautiful testimony how God blessed her to get a job, blessed her to get a car and all that stuff. But she was telling me one thing that made a difference in her life. I always talk to them how, just have faith the size of a mustard seed and just trust that God was going to do it. And fortunately enough, when my husband worked, I actually had mustard seed so they can see what a mustard seed looked like. It's very, very small. So it really take a lot of faith to move God. If you really trust God, God will see you through. And so she was telling me how she had called me one day and was telling me how that it's like she was just spinning and spinning and going in a circle, and people were just pulling on her and pulling on her and pulling on her. And she's, so Mom, what do I need to do? And she said the simplest thing to her that day, she said, I said, stop spinning. So a lot of the stuff we're going through, we just sending ourselves through it. Just stop. Be still and see the salvation of the Lord. Be still and let God work the things out. You ask him to do it, God will do it. God said he will do it for you, and he will do it. God is not short of what he said he would do. So we just have to believe and walk in faith and trust God to do what God said God would do. So I do encourage you to get the book or follow this video. I'm going to put the book upside down. Or follow this video and get you a composition book. And then I'm posting this on Facebook as well on YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can go to each chapter. I'm going through all 12 of them. Like I said, this is chapter 5. And about your spiritual testimonies. And please share your journey with someone, because it's important for people to know who you are. Thank you so much. And I pray that you have a blessed day.